Bla bla bla, bla bla bla. Van-e hangom? Vajon ezt hol lehet látni? No, everyone is here. Fuck. Cool. I need a few more moments just to write some notes and then we will start. Until then, you can just get out your mat and if you have. Where are my notes? Right. So, if you have a block, then bring it. If not, then pillow is also good. Okay. Just gonna also check if everybody finds the channel. And maybe hear some nice children's noise from my street. Sorry, it's one of those days that I'm just not very prepared for anything at all. So yeah, I need 2 more minutes to write some notes and until then you can just chill. And we're gonna start lying down, so if you want you can just lie down and relax a little bit. Okay, cool. I think everybody is here too, which is nice. I'm just gonna drink a little bit more and then we'll start. Yeah, and close the window. So, welcome everyone. As I promised, today we will take a focus on the upper back and in general the upper body. And interesting thing in yoga about working with the upper body, at least what I have found recently, is that it's super easy to say that everything is connected, but it also means that if you have more stability in the bottom part of the body, then you have more freedom in the upper part of the body to move around. So just saying that we will focus on the upper part doesn't mean that our legs are going to rest today. It rather means that now the legs will provide as a foundation and will provide more stability in order to have a little bit more room to experiment in the upper body. And we're going to start lying down. And here you can either just lie on your back, or you can join me and do a little bit of the opening of the back and the shoulders by putting putting 2 blocks under yourself. You can also do it with 1 actually, and then only take the top one. Or if you don't have blocks, then you can put pillows under your back. The important part is that these should be these should start above the kind of sacrum, it's called in English, I think, like the Kreuzbein or Kerestjoint. And then you lie down. And then if you want, you can also put like an extra pillow below your head, or you can also let the head come down. I'm just gonna put the blanket here. And basically this allows the shoulders to fall down a little bit to the side, and it allows the upper body, the upper back to open. So it's also possible to do this just with 1 block, but now I have 2, so why not use 2? So the interesting thing is that there should be a block somewhere below your back, and that should support your spine. But meanwhile, your shoulders should roll downwards. So if you want, you can even like move your shoulders a tiny little bit, maybe moving them up a little bit closer to your ear, and then allowing them to circle down towards the floor. And then the legs can be pulled up a little bit. You can allow the knees to fall towards each other, or if it feels better for you, then you can also stretch them out on the floor. Yeah. And if you stretch them out, then let the feet fall to the 2 sides, like people do in Shavasana. And with the arms, you can kind of control how deep you want this stretch. So if you want a little bit of extra opening, then you can either move the arms to your sides, or even a little bit higher up, or you can even stretch them really upward. Now I don't really have the space here to do that, but basically the more like the higher your elbows are, the more opening you will experience. And then when you feel like you found a position that works for you, it's good for your shoulders, then you can stay there and start deepening the breath. So the next time you inhale, try to make this inhalation a little bit fuller, like filling the chest, filling the stomach. And then exhaling from the stomach, from the chest. And then stay with the emptiness for a moment. And then inhale again completely to the chest, into the stomach. And exhale completely, just as slowly as you did the inhalation. And then stay there with the emptiness. If it helps, you can do it in a count. So you can inhale on 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just keep going with this deeper rhythm. And if this is too much for you, or you just feel like you're running out of air, you can always go back to your natural breathing and just let go. And meanwhile, bring your attention to the shoulders, to the shoulder blades. Observe what is happening. And with every exhalation, try to release a little bit the muscles around the shoulder blades. And maybe you even have some feeling in your arms. For example, for me in the forearms, I can feel some tingling. Just keep your attention there and notice what would feel good for your body right now. Would it feel good to go deeper? Would it feel good to start coming out? Whenever you feel like you need to come out, then just start coming out of this and bring down the arms next to your body. Now let's take one more deep breath together here. And the next time you exhale, wherever you are, now you can bring the arms down next to the body. Bring up the knees closer to yourself, grounding the feet. And then turn over to one side, just like when we come out of Shavasana. Just roll down from this thing that you built out of blocks and pillows. And rest here for a moment. Inhale here. Exhale, release. Allow the upper back to go back to its natural curve. And then slowly start coming up to sitting. And make some space by removing all the stuff that you have. And then we're going to come into a comfortable seat. So if you want, you can sit a little bit higher with a block or a pillow or a blanket. We're going to stay here a little bit and we're going to continue with mobilizing the upper body. So the next time you inhale here, feel the chest, bring up the shoulders. Exhale, roll them down. One more inhale here. And on exhalation, move your head to the left side. Roll it forward. Inhale up on the right side. Exhale forward. Inhale up on the left side. Exhale forward. Do a few more rounds here. You can go as slow as you feel like. You can experiment with moving the head a tiny little bit backward as well, but not too much. Just feel how is your neck, how are all these muscles there that are very strong, that hold the weight of your neck to hold in. And your next time your head is to the left, and stop there for a moment. And just breathe, and if you want, you can maybe stretch a little bit deeper by putting down the right hand and putting the left hand on top of the head. And just breathe into this opening. Try to keep the back straight meanwhile. And then one more inhalation here. And exhale, release the hand, let it roll off the front. And inhale, come up on the right side, and then stay here for a couple of breaths. And if you want, again, you can put down the left hand next to you and the right hand on top of the head. And that can help you open up the neck a little bit more. And then one more inhalation here. And exhale, release the head, let it roll to the front. And then you can close your eyes for a moment. Make sure your back is straight, and then you can put your hands on the back of your head, interlace the fingers, and open the back of the head a little bit. And try to very gently pull on the neck, but instead of pulling it down, rather pull it like away from the body. So as if you try to make your spine a little bit longer. Now release the fingers and give yourself a little bit of a massage here. Touch these muscles close to your neck, close to the spine, and just observe how they are today. Are they sensitive? Are they stiff? Or are they rather relaxed? You can observe if your skin is warm, or maybe your fingers feel a little bit cold, like mine feel always a bit cold. And then bring back your hands on the back of the neck. One more exhalation here, and then next inhalation, open up the chest. And lean back into the hands, look upwards. And exhale, release the hands. And move out the shoulders and the upper body a bit. And then we're going to reach up on the next inhalation. And exhale, twist to the left side. And then stay here for a couple of breaths. You don't have to push very hard with the hands, rather try to be long from the spine as you inhale. And as you exhale, with the strength of activate your core, and from the strength of the core, you can go a little bit more into the twist. So the hand is rather there to guide you. It's not supposed to really bring you too much into this twist. It's just there to balance. Maybe you can try looking behind you for a moment. That also engages the spine that is in the neck. And then on your next inhalation, bring up the left arm above you and lean over to your right side. Try not to fall too much, rather like move upwards with the arm, creating a lot of space on this left side. And then inhale here, and exhale, move the left hand on top of the right knee, and come back to your center and round the back. Inhale and exhale here, and notice how you can breathe into this very tight space right now. Feel how the shoulder blades are moving away from each other if you push a little bit with the arms. And then on the next inhalation, straighten up the spine and bring up the arms and bring them into the eagle arms position. So now the left hand is on top, the right hand is on bottom, the right arm is on bottom. And then the hands can clasp together, or they can just be with the backs to each other. And inhale, reach up a little bit with the elbows, and exhale, allow the shoulders to fall down. And then just breathe into the space that you create between the shoulder blades. I'm being very, very selfish today because I had a bit of pain on my back in the shoulders, and that's why I wanted to practice this shoulder opening, but I hope it also works for you and also benefits you. This will also be the reason why I might not go super deep today into some of the poses. And I also advise you to be careful and listen to your body where its boundaries are. And just stay on those boundaries and try not to push too much in any direction. So one more inhalation here. Maybe you can lift the elbows a little bit higher. And exhale, release the arms. And move up the upper body. And then you can change the 2 feet. So now the other foot is into the front, just so that the legs are not so bored. And then on the next inhalation, roll up the shoulders. And exhale back. And then inhale, reach up with the arms. And exhale, twist your right side. And we're going to spend a couple of breaths here. Make sure that your back is straight, the hips are tilted a little bit forward. And with every inhalation, try to become a little bit longer, especially in the upper spine, like pulling up the neck. And with the exhalation, you can engage the core a little bit and try to go a little bit deeper into the twist. But it's really rather about winning space for us now. If you want, you can engage the neck and try to look a little bit behind you. If that feels good for you to complete the twist with this final little bit. And then on your next inhalation, reach up with the right arm and exhale, reach over to your left side. And now try to rather reach forward instead of falling down. So you really try to be long now on the right side of your body and create a lot of space starting from the hips, which are well, sitting bones are well grounded here, and becoming long upwards. One more inhalation here. And exhale, allow the right hand to land on the left knee. And then come to your center and move back a tiny little bit, rounding the back. And breathe into this tiny space. Notice what is happening between the shoulder blades. As you try to take deep breaths here, notice where the air is flowing. And on your next inhalation, straighten the back. Release the hands from two sides and interlace the arms in the eagle arm. So right now the left arm is on the bottom, the right arm is on top. And then lift up the elbow a tiny little bit and let the shoulders come down. And then you can increase the pressure if you feel like it works for you and it helps the shoulder blades move away from each other. And just breathe into that space. And then on your next inhalation, you can open up the arms, become very open, very wide. You can move the chest a little bit forward, opening. And exhale, move backwards. You can put the hands on the knees and become a big round thing. And then come back to your center and close the feet in front of you. Close the legs. You can remove if you were sitting on a block or on a pillow. And then we're going to transition into Navasana. We're going to start activating the core. But before we do that, first tilt the hip a little bit forward. So you bring the lower part of the stomach closer to the legs. And this, you can feel that this kind of straightens up the back. And that's what we want to keep. We want to keep this kind of straight back for this practice. Then you can start leaning backwards, but keeping the straight back, becoming long. And then as you lean backwards, the legs can come up. And try to keep this kind of tightness, this tight space between the legs and the core. And keep your core active. And just breathe here. And if you feel like you want to challenge yourself, you can release the arms. Feel your stomach muscles. If there's a bit of shaking, that's very good. If you don't feel anything here, you can try to go a little bit lower, but try to keep the back rather straight and long. And then one more inhalation here. And then exhale, put down the feet and come forward and release the back. Give yourself a couple of deep breaths into the lower back. And then inhale, come back to your center and transition into a tabletop position. Now make sure the hands are below your shoulders, the knees are below the hips, feet are pointing backwards. And then we're just going to do a couple of classic cat-cows. So the cow is looking upwards and the cat is rounding the back. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And you can do this with your own rhythm, as fast or as slow as you feel like. In general, it's really not too slow. You can be really slow and really feel each vertebra in your spine moving. expanding. And maybe you can draw a little bit of attention to your core, feeling how your core activates when you're in the cat, and how your stomach muscles stretch out when you go into the cow. And then come back to your center here. And then we're just going to open the hands a little bit. So move your hands first to the sides. So now the fingers are facing outwards. And then very gently start moving the hands to the back. So now the fingers are facing backwards, the thumb is facing to the sides. And then just put as much pressure on the wrists here as you feel good. And if you want to go deeper into this, then you move a little bit backwards. That will stretch out the wrists a little bit more. But be very gentle with yourself here and try to keep the hands relatively strong and engaged. You can do that by pressing the fingers a little bit into the ground. So if you look down and you see that on your fingertips the skin is a bit white, that's good because it means that you're pressing it. And just breathe deeply here and be very conscious of what is happening. And then on your next inhalation, start moving your weight back forward. And then we're going to come out the same way that we came. So first we let the hands move to the sides. And then we let them move forward. And then you can like open and close the hands a little bit. Maybe you can even twist them around. And then if this was already kind of a lot for you, then you can kind of skip the next part and just sit back and relax a little bit. But if you want to try another wrist opening, then this time we're gonna move the hands downward. So now the palm is facing upward, the fingers are facing to the back, the thumbs are facing each other. They can even touch if that is something that feels good for you. And then again, try not to put too much weight on the wrists, and then slowly move a little bit backwards with your body. That will open up the back of the hands. And this really, this is kind of a very personal pose in the sense that for some people this feels super nice and amazing. And for others, this is like torture. So, don't torture yourself. If this feels good, then do it. If not, then you can also stretch your hand in like a very classic way. Or just move the wrists a little bit. And in case this is something that you enjoy and you want to stay a little bit longer, then feel free to do so. And then you can draw your attention to the forearms and feel how the tendons in your forearms are stretching when you're doing this. And then one more inhalation here. And then exhalation, move your weight back now. And sit down on your heels for a moment. And then you can gently move the fingers a little bit. Maybe move around the wrists. And then release the hands and just for a moment feel that you probably feel the warmth build up in your palms. So just be aware of that and relax the hands a little bit. And then you can open your eyes. We're gonna go back to the tabletop. And then move yourself around for a tiny little bit. And you're gonna do some twists here. So again, make sure that your knees are below the hips and the hands are below the shoulders. And then stretch your right leg to the back. And don't lift up the leg just yet. Just push back with the heel and allow the back side of the leg to open up. Try to level the hips. So maybe your right side of the hips are going upwards now, and bring them down again so that the two sides are the same. And just push back a little bit with your body weight to open up the back side of the leg. And activate the leg as well. So now your right leg is really strong and pushing backwards, and it's kind of in control of the situation. Nice. And then you can release a little bit, keep the leg there, but without being so super active. And then lift up the left hand and open up to the side. Become very long here. Now the right hip might try to fall down. Bring back the right hip so the hips are still level, and try to rather open up from the chest area. You can even touch your left shoulder and bring it a little bit upwards. And if you want, you can even look upwards, but it's a little bit harder to stay here. And engage with the core and stay here. And then do one more inhalation here. And then your next exhalation, bring down the hand and move the hand below the right armpit and towards the other side, but without putting down the shoulder. And exhale here. And then inhale, come up. And exhale, roll back. And then inhale, come up one more time. And exhale, roll back. And this time you can bring down the shoulder. And if you want, you can move the right hand a little bit forward. That can give you a little bit more stability. And if it's really complicated for you right now, then to have the leg up here, then you can also bring down the right knee. That's also very valid. And just stay here for a moment and try to breathe into this upper spine area, which you can feel in the twist now. It's also an area where a lot of daily tension is stored often. Like work-related stress and stuff often builds up tension there. So just observe what is there and what can you do with it when you breathe into it. And then one more inhalation here. And then on exhalation, lift up the shoulder first. And then inhale, come up to the twist one more time. And exhale, release. Now put down the right knee. Move the hands a little bit forward and try to bring the chest down towards the ground. It's okay if the chest doesn't hit the ground. You might also come down with the chin or with the forehead. And keep the elbows straight and keep the arms elevated and the hands very strong. Move a little bit backwards with your weight and become very, very long. This Anahata. It's the Anahata is the heart chakra in yoga. So this is a very heart stimulating pose. It's basically the basic and the very strong shoulder opener. So be conscious of yourself. This might look easy, but it's actually a very intense pose. Now one more inhalation here. And exhale, you can start lifting yourself up and come back to your center. Find a good spot so the hands are below the shoulders, knees are below the hips, and then stretch out the left leg to the back. And then push backwards with the left heel. And try not to let the left hip fall down to the side and rather really push backwards. Be very strong in the left leg. So as if you try to push your knee upwards to open up more the back side of the leg. This might be very intense for you, especially if you're running or cycling or doing a lot of this leg sports, leg activities. And then you can move your weight closer to the center and then lift up the right arm. Now we're going to do the twist on this side. And here I cannot go that deep because I have this back thing, but you can go as deep as you feel like. So make sure that your left hip is not falling down. Keep the hips even. And then open up rather from the right shoulder. So twisting open from the right shoulder. And then you can reach out with the arm, and if you want, you can look upwards. And engage with the core. And And then one more inhalation here. And then exhale, move the right hand through the below the left arm to the side and come close to the ground, but don't quite put down the shoulder. Exhale here. And on your next inhale, roll upwards, opening up. And exhale, move to the other side. Inhale, roll up, opening the shoulder. And then one more time, exhale. And now you can put down the shoulder and come into this deep twist. And here you can move the left hand a little bit further away, so for a bit more stability. And if this is very hard for you to keep your hips aligned, then you can also put down the left knee. That will create more stability in the hips, and then you can actually focus more on the shoulder. But if this feels good for you or not sure, then you can also keep the leg here. And breathe into this space that you are opening in the shoulder. And now one more inhalation here. Exhale, bring back the left hand. And then on the next inhalation, you can lift up the shoulder, opening it one more time to the side. And exhale, bring down the hand, bring down both of the knees, and go back for a tiny movement to child's pose, releasing the back. One more breath here. And exhale, release a bit more. And then on the next inhalation, open up the chest, move forward, lift up the knees, and come back to your downward looking dog. And then you can give yourself some time to move into this downward dog, so you can kind of walk the dog a little bit, moving the hips side to side, or whatever else you need to align here. You can even move your weight a little bit back and forth, finding a good distance between the hands and the feet. And then you can bend the knees a tiny little bit and bring the hips even more backwards and upwards. So today we have the focus on the upper back, so also in the downward dog we will have the focus there. And you can achieve that by bending the knees a tiny little bit and moving with the chest towards the knees, kind of, yeah, like opening up. It feels like as if you were trying to open up the armpits towards the ground. And try to keep some space between the head and the shoulders, so between the ears and the shoulders, and release the neck by moving around the head. And then your back should be really nice and straight. The hips should be pointing upwards and away. And then if you feel like, okay, this is still like kind of easy for me, then you can start stretching out the back of the legs and bring the heels towards the ground. And then just breathe here, spreading out the fingers, pushing all of the fingers into the ground. And just breathe. I used to say that the downward looking dog is a resting pose, but I'm not quite sure anymore. Actually, it's a very intense pose. If you put a lot of energy into it, it becomes very, very intense. And then one more inhalation here. And then your exhalation, bend the knees and step behind your hands. Come into deep forward bend. And then here you can release your back a little bit. So if you want, you can stay like this, or you can grab your elbows, maybe move a little bit side to side. And try to bring your weight rather forward, so towards the toes. And really allow the entire upper body to fall down as if it was a big waterfall coming from your hips and falling down, down, down towards the earth. Make the legs strong, straight. And then on the next inhalation, come up to half and stretch out the back. And let's stay here for a moment. This is also a kind of intense pose, and we usually just kind of rush through it. So now let's take some time. Make sure that the back of the straight is very strong. The back of the legs is very strong. So if you try to push the knees backwards and the kneecaps upwards by engaging with the leg, with the thighs, and then you can try. You can even come a little bit higher. I mean, it really sucks that I don't see you, but basically what you want is you want a lot of weight on the toes, and you try to like straighten the back by tilting the hips forward, kind of what we did when we were in the goat pose. So your back is very straight, the core is activated, and then you still have enough room to breathe here. Let's do one more inhalation here, and then exhale, bend the knees a little bit, and fall down into this waterfall forward bend. One more inhalation here. One more exhalation, release a little bit more. And then on your next inhalation, you can start rolling up, vertebra by vertebra, giving yourself enough time to arrive in your Tadasana. And then we're going to do some sun salutations. So come to the front of your mat. Be in a very strong Tadasana, pushing the feet into the ground. Feet are hip distance apart. Hips are tilted below you a little bit, so a little bit forward tilted. The core is active, the shoulders fall away from the ears. And take a deep breath here and exhale, be a little bit more grounded. Then inhale, reach up with the arms. Exhale, come into deep forward fold. Inhale, step back with the right leg. Exhale, put down the right knee. Inhale, open up the chest. And exhale, step back into plank. Inhale here, become very long in your plank. Exhale, knee, chest and chin. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, back to your downward looking dog. And breathe into this downward looking dog. Again, focus on straightening out the back, moving with the chest downwards. If you were pushing back from your arms, pushing your upper body towards your thighs. And breathe into that space between the shoulder blades. Releasing the neck. Now on your next inhalation, lift up the right leg. Exhale, step between your hands, bring down the left knee. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, step forward into forward bend. Inhale, roll up, reach upwards. And exhale, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come into deep forward bend. Inhale, step back with the left leg, strong in the left leg, bring down the hips. Exhale, put down the left knee. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, step back into a plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, knee, chest and chin. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downwards looking dog. And breathe deeply into this downwards looking dog. And try experimenting with stretching out the legs, having the heels pointing downwards. But you don't have to do that if you feel like your back is arching when you go there. Next inhalation, lift up the left leg. Exhale, step between the hands, bring down the right knee. Inhale, open up the chest. And exhale, step forward, deep forward bend. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, deep forward bend. Inhale, step back with the left leg. And now on exhalation, stay here. Just become a little bit longer. And inhale, open up just the chest here. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. It's called low lunge. And just breathe into this long, long line between the top of your head and the heel. Push with the heel backwards and open the chest to the front. And maybe if it feels better for you, you can open the leg a little bit to the side. And then on your next inhalation, come up to the high lunge. And exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then here, make sure that your hip is a little bit tilted forward. That will lengthen your leg. But meanwhile, the back leg is really straight. You can go a little bit deeper. Make sure that your front knee is not falling inwards, but it's rather aligned with the little toe. So the knee tends to fall into the big toe, open it to the little toe. So the hips are forward, back leg is straight, knees outside, and then you can reach up, and you can lean a little bit to your left side. If you want, you can grab the right wrist with the left hand and open up the whole right side. And just breathe into this. One more inhalation here. Exhale, we can go a little bit longer. And then inhale, come back to your center. And exhale, put down the hands. Inhale, step into plank. And now in your exhalation, you can try to do the chaturanga. So coming closer to the ground. And then inhale, coming up to upwards looking dog. And exhale, downwards looking dog. And stretching to this downwards looking dog. Bring the sitting bones upwards. And the chest towards the ground. And on your next inhalation, lift up the right leg. Exhale, step between your hands. Put down the left knee. Inhale, open up the chest. And exhale, step forward into deep forward bend. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, release. And then inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, deep forward bend. Inhale, step back with the left leg. This time we have left leg. And exhale, bring the hips a little bit closer to the ground, but stay in this deep low lunge. Inhale, open up the chest. I forgot to say, but this is a great time to use blocks. So if you have blocks, you can put them below your hands here because we're going to stay here for 1 or 2 more breaths. So when you inhale, try to open the chest a little bit more and like as if you really try to be push forward with your chest and strength. And meanwhile, you push back with your left heel. So it's a very, very strong pose. And then on your next inhalation, come up to a high lunge. And here we're going to do a little bit of alignment. So the hips should be on the same level. Try to tilt the hips a little bit forward, but at the same time stretching backwards with the left heel. So that's kind of hard. It's really like a strong opening on the hip here. And then you can try to go a little bit deeper on the front leg and bring the right knee rather towards the center of the foot or rather the small toe than inside towards the big toe. Something like this. Nice. And then you can reach up. And then one more inhalation here. And then as you exhale, you can lean towards your right side. So you can grab the left wrist with the right hand and open a little bit your entire left side, one long, long line. And try to stay upright. So I kind of tend to fall forward here, but try to stay rather upright. And you can feel all sorts of things opening. And now one more inhalation here. Exhale, going the time a little bit deeper. And then inhale, release the arms. And exhale, bring down the hands. Inhale, front plank. And exhale, you can do knee just chin, or you can try chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, upward looking dog. And exhale, downwards looking dog. And stretching to this downwards looking dog. And on your next inhalation, lift the left leg. And exhale, step between your hands, put down the right knee. Inhale, open up the chest. And exhale, step forward into the forward bend. And then inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, release. And then we're gonna come into everybody's favorite pose. So from Tadasana, on your next inhalation, sit back into a chair. And again, try to keep the back long by tilting the hip a little bit below you. And sit a little bit deeper. Try to keep some space between the shoulders and the ears. And then one more inhalation here. And then exhale, bring your arms in front of you and push strongly against each other. Oh, sorry, the hands are against each other. Yep. And then inhale one more time here. And then on exhalation, twist towards your right side. So the left elbow is hooked toward into the right knee. And then keep the knees together. So don't allow them to one of them move forward and the other one move backward. And try to still sit very deeply and come into a twist. And breathe deeply here. And then start moving all of your weight towards your right foot and start lifting up the left heel. And as you have less and less weight on your left heel, prepare yourself and then step back. And now you're in high lunge to a twist to your right side. And then here you can also go a little bit deeper into the twist. Now you can stretch out the back leg so the left heel is moving towards the ground. The left hip is moving a little bit forward. And just breathe. If you want, you can also extend the arms to the two sides. So the right arm up, the left arm down, but that's just like extra. It doesn't have to be like that. And now one more inhalation here. Exhale, release the arms. And then on the inhalation, come up to your center. And now bring the left foot a little bit closer so that you can put down the left heel and the left toes are facing in a 45-degree towards the front and to the left. So I hope you can kind of see this, that it's not like to the forward and it's not to the side, but rather in this 45-degree angle. You can create a little bit more space between the two legs as well. So the right foot is facing forward, the left is kind of outside, and you can create as much space as you can still keep both of the legs straight with the hips facing forward. So if your pose is like this, that's fine. If your pose is like this, that's also fine. You rather want to go for a little bit more distance, but actually all of that is fine. And we're gonna do kind of a tricky thing. So be very conscious of what your hips and what your spine allows today. And if this is too much for you, then you should just not do it. But we're gonna try to do a twisted triangle. So you all know the triangle pose, which is like this, now like this. Now we're gonna do the other way around. So we're gonna first move to the front, and then we're gonna twist to our right side and open the arms. And then we're gonna move forward with the left hand, and then fall down and allow the left hand to arrive on the right ankle or on the right shin bone. And then you wanna bring your right arm above you. And then you wanna open the right shoulder up. And try to keep the legs straight meanwhile. So both of the legs are completely straight and they are very strong. And that will allow you to come into this twist. And just breathe into this. It's a pretty hard pose. Don't worry if it doesn't work or if you feel like you want to come out, just come out. But try to breathe through it. Let's do one more inhalation here. And then exhale, bring down both of the hands and just fall on top of the leg for a moment. And then inhale, roll up. And then you can just watch me for a moment. For the next round, you can either do the twisted triangle again, or if you feel particularly crazy today, like I do, then you can try to come with me into the twisted half moon, which sounds like really kind of crazy when I say it like that. So it's called, I actually know the Sanskrit name, it's called Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana, twisted half moon pose. So I'm going to demonstrate how we go into it, and then you can come with me in the next round. So we kind of start like we did before. So the legs are kind of straight, and then we twist to the right side. And then we're going to bend the forward leg a little bit so that the back leg can lift up. And then you want to come down here. And this is basically the pose. And here you want to push back with the left knee, with the left heel. And you want to open the right shoulder upwards, and you want to look to your right side. And that's it. So if this seems too much, you can do the twisted triangle, but if you want to try, there's always a chance to try. And here you can also use a block you can place in front of the front foot. That might come in handy. So let's go in there together. Right foot is facing forward, the left foot is facing outwards. Now you can close the gap a little bit between the two legs. And then let's first come into a twist. So we twist to the right side. And then you want to lean forward. And then with the left hand, you either reach the block, or with the fingertips, you reach the ground in front of you. And then you start moving your weight on the right leg. And then you lift up the left leg behind you. And this might already be enough for you. But if you want to go into the full pose, you start opening the chest to the right side. And maybe you start looking towards the right side. And that's really hard. So just breathe through it. And stay for 2 more minutes. And then inhale one more time. And then exhale, bring down both of the hands. And step back. And we can all together step back into downward looking dog. And stretch into this dog. Now if you want, you can go through a vinyasa with me, or you can just stay here, or you can also rest in child's pose. I think I'm gonna go a vinyasa because why not? So if you want to do a vinyasa, you can inhale into plank, exhale chaturanga, inhale upwards looking dog, and exhale downwards looking dog. And just breathe into this. And if you went into child's pose, you can also come up into downward looking dog with us. Opening the chest to the backwards, opening the back of the legs, and releasing the head. And then one more inhalation here. And exhale, step forward behind the legs. And into deep forward bend. In a half bend, stretching out the back. Exhale, forward bend. And then inhale, roll up, reach all the way up. And exhale back. Now the tricky news is that we have another side. So step to the front of your mat. And we're going to try this on the other side. If you want, you can also just move yourself out the time first. And then as you inhale, come into a chair. Come a little bit deeper into the chair. Keep the knees close to each other. Don't allow them to fall to one side or something. And till the hips a little bit below you. That will allow the lower part of the back to lengthen. And maybe sit a bit deeper. And then one more time, inhale here. And then exhale, bring the hands together in front of your heart. Inhale again. And exhale, twist your left side. And here try to keep the knees together. They will try to go to one side or the other. Keep them close. And go deeper, a little bit deeper into this twist by opening the chest to the left side. And then start lifting up your right heel and put more and more weight on your left foot. And then when you are ready, you can step back. Oh, it's okay to fall out. I did too. And then now you are in a deep twist. Make sure that your right hip is not falling down, but it's rather lifting up. And the right heel is pushing into the ground. And then you can go a little bit deeper with the hips into this twist. And if you want, you can even open the arms to the sides. And then one more inhalation here. Exhale, put back the hands together. And then inhale, come up. Yeah. And then bring, close the legs a little bit, make the step a little bit shorter so that you can put down the back heel. Now it's going to be the right foot that is facing 45 degrees to the side, and the left foot is facing forward. And make sure the hips are facing to the front. So if you need to make the step a little bit shorter, that's fine. And if you need to make it wider to be more stable, that's also okay. Just make sure that you can have the hips facing forward and both of the legs can be comfortably straight. Nice. And then we're going to go into the twisted triangle. So on our next inhalation, lift up the arms and exhale, twist your left side. Now start reaching forward with the right arm. And then allow the right hand to come down to the outside of the left foot or grabbing the ankle. And then open up from the left side. Try to open the chest towards the sky and keep both of the legs straight and pushing into the ground. And breathe into this. And breathe very deeply here. It's a very interesting feeling. And then one more inhalation here. One more exhalation to go a tiny little bit deeper. And on your next inhalation, you can start coming up. And then on your exhalation, you can fall a little bit on top of the front leg. Sorry, I kind of forgot about that. So you can release the back for a moment. Just falling on top of this front leg. And then your next inhalation, roll up. And now you can either do a second round of the twisted triangle, or if you want, you can do the twisted half moon on this side as well. If you did the other side, then I would recommend to try here too, just for the sake of symmetry. So if you want, you can again use a block here. If you use a block, then place it in front of your foot. Or you can do it without block. I'm going to show it without block because I think most of you don't have blocks. So I just assume that you don't have one. So now you can step even a little bit closer. Both legs are straight. Inhale up. And exhale, come into a twist towards your left side. And then start moving forward, forward, forward. Coming down. Then bend both of the legs a little bit. And then touch the ground in front of you or a block if you have it. And then start lifting up the right leg. And then you are pushing backwards with the right foot, so with the right heel. And then you can try to open the chest a little bit to the left side. And try to bring up the left shoulder a little bit more. And just breathe through it. And then when you feel like you're ready, take one more inhalation here. And exhale, release both of the hands and step back into downward looking dog. Yeah, stretching out the back, opening the shoulders to the sides. And then again, if you want, you can stay here, go into child's pose, or you can go through one last vinyasa with me. If you want to come with me, then on your inhalation, come to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upwards looking dog. And exhale, downwards looking dog. And breathe into this downwards looking dog. Move the shoulders away from each other. Release the hand. And just breathe deeply here. Now your next inhalation, move your weight a little bit forward. And exhale, step behind the hands. Inhale, become long for half bend. Exhale, full bend. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, release. And then open the feet to the mat width. I'm going to show it like this, and we're going to come into a squat just to release the back a little bit. So make sure that your feet are wide enough and you have enough space. And then come down into a deep squat. If you have trouble putting down the heels and you're not a heel slab, you can use your blocks below the heels. So that's also completely fine. And then you can, if this is really easy for you, then lift up your hips a little bit so you can engage the core, and from that you can lift up. And then with the strength of your arms, you can push to the sides. And maybe you can feel your back releasing a tiny little bit. And breathe quite deeply here. And then one more inhalation here. And then exhale, put down the hands in front of you. And bring the feet a little bit closer together. And then just come into deep forward bend. And if you want, you can either stay here in your deep forward bend, or you can interlace the fingers behind you and allow the arms to fall down. If you're doing this variation, then make sure that you actually have the palms close together. So you put the entire hand is touching, and it's not just like opening like this, but rather like this. And then one more inhalation here. And then exhale, allow the arms to fall down. And then sit back on your mat. And I'm super sad that we're running out of time. This took a little bit longer than I expected, but anyway, we still have a little bit of time to release the lower back. So come into Dandasana. Here you want the legs to be quite strong. You know the deal, the heels are pushing away from the body. And detail the hips a little bit to make sure that your back is straight. And then pull up the right leg. And open the right leg to the side. So now it's close to the ground, and if this is not so comfortable for you, then you can put a block below the leg so it's a little bit higher up. And then bring this foot kind of close to kind of the bottom of your hip, of your leg. And then inhale, reach up. And then exhale, move forward. And then here, when you inhale, try to keep make the back a little bit straighter, so becoming a little bit longer in the upper body. And exhale, release a little bit closer. So it's not about the head falling down, but rather the stomach coming a little bit closer to the foot. And you can either grab the foot or you can grab the shin, whatever you can reach. Let's take one more inhalation here. Exhale, going a little bit deeper. And then inhale, move back. Pull up the leg in front of you, very close. And then place the right leg on the outside of the left leg. Move it a little bit further away so it's like kind of outside of the knee. Then inhale here. And exhale, come into a twist to the right side. Today we did a bit of experimenting between an active twist, so when the whole body is engaged, and the passive twist, where your body is more relaxed and it's really only the twist that is happening. So enjoy these little differences and these different kind of twists and how they can affect your spine. And then on an exhalation, come back to your center. And exhale, come for a tiny counter twist. And then inhale, center. And exhale, release the leg. And then now pull up the left leg close to you. Very, very close with the heel to the bottom of the leg. And then open to the left side. And again, if this is not like falling to the ground or if it's not so comfortable for you, you can put a block or a pillow underneath to make you feel a little bit more grounded. And then make sure that both of your sitting bones are on the ground. Then inhale upwards, becoming long. And exhale, come down on the top of the leg. And then your inhalation become long again, especially on the bottom spine. And exhale, come a little bit closer to the front leg. And then keep on breathing into whatever is tight, whatever is the part that is being stretched. Concentrate your attention there and breathe deeply into that area. And then your next inhalation, become long one more time. And exhale, go time a little bit deeper. And then inhale, start rolling up. Bring back the knee close to you. And then place the left foot on the outside of the right leg. Inhale here. And exhale, come into a twist to the left side. And again, you have this very tiny space between the stomach and the leg. So breathe into that and observe what is happening along your spine. One more inhalation here. Exhale, go a tiny little bit deeper. And then inhale, come to your center, reaching up. And exhale towards the right side. And then inhale, come to your center. And exhale, stretch out both of the legs. And now for a final thing, before we relax, we're going to do Paschimottanasana, the full forward bend. So prepare yourself by making sure that you're sitting on your sitting bones. If you need, you can put something below you. And then make the feet very strong, pushing away from you. And then inhale up. And exhale, come closer to your feet. Inhale, make sure the back is straight. And exhale, come a little bit closer. And especially here, the interesting part is really that the stomach is coming closer to the legs, and it doesn't really matter what is happening up here. If you have your shin bones, it's also completely fine. Just come closer and closer to your leg and observe where your butt is flowing here. And then one more inhalation here. One more exhalation, going a tiny little bit deeper. And then inhale, start rolling up. And move backwards for a moment. Pull up your feet. And inch yourself to the center of your mat. And then when you are ready, start rolling yourself down. And before we go into Shavasana, we're going to make sure that our back is really long. So you can stretch out the legs. Or actually, it's a bit easier if you have the legs up here. And then lift up just the hips and then start rolling back yourself in a way that it's as if you're pulling away the sitting bones from the spine. That way create a little bit of extra space down there. And then you can stretch out the legs. Now we're going to do the same in the top. So interlace your fingers behind your head. Lift up the head with the strength of the arms and move it a little bit away from your body and then let it fall down again. So now the chin is facing a little bit down. And then you can release here as well. And then observe this line that we created in the spine today. These kind of twists are super nice for the spine. It's like really like back gymnastics. And then you can bring your attention to your legs. We also work very strong with them today. They need to be very stable, but at the same time very straight and very stretchy. So give them a tiny little bit of attention and allow them to relax to the sides. Let the feet fall to the sides. And take one more really deep breath here. And as you exhale, leave the whole class behind you. And arrive into your Shavasana. Now you don't need to do anything anymore. Just be present for yourself and for your body. And allow your breath to become normal. And stay here in peace with yourself. And then you can slowly start making your breath deeper, taking control over it again. So your next inhalation can be a little bit deeper into the chest, into the stomach. And then exhale a little bit more fully from the chest, from the stomach. You can go through it one more time. So breathing in a lot of air. And you can exhale through the mouth and make any kind of sounds you want to make, like And then you can breathe normally. And start giving movement back to your hands, to your fingers, to the toes. Clenching your hands into fists and then releasing. And then you can stretch yourself. If you feel like you can even bring the arms up, becoming long on the floor. Maybe stretching one side and the other. And then you can roll over to your favorite side and then release there for a moment, allowing the ground to carry you a little bit longer. And then with the strength of the arms, you can push yourself up to a comfortable seat. You can keep your eyes closed for a little bit longer. Allow your hands to arrive on the legs. And feel the warmth that is coming from your palms. Lean back a tiny little bit. Allow the back to straighten up. And just observe how is your back feeling now. How is your spine? How is the head? And then on your next inhalation, you can pull up the shoulders a little bit. Exhale, releasing them down. And then you can close your hands in front of your heart. We're going to say goodbye to this class with one Om. If you want, you can do it with me or you can just listen. So inhale first, just completely. And exhale completely. And then inhale for Om. I would like to thank you very much for practicing with me today. And I hope you all have a very nice evening. Namaste. And see you next Monday. Same place, pretty much the same time. Ciao, ciao.